It has always been said that we should learn from history, and it would seem that in road building, especially when crossing rivers, that this holds true. A public-private partnership with tolls to pay the debt back was a great idea used to build the M50 in the 20th century in Dublin. But in fact, it's an old solution from as far back as 1729. Then an impoverished Irish Parliament, desperate to improve roads but lacking money, decided to allow local groups to fund road building and to recoup it with tolls. These were called turnpike roads. John Colgan, a local historian and author, now lives in the toll keeper's cottage right on the bridge in Leixlip in County Kildare.
They decided to build a road out to Kinnegad, and they took it to Mullingar and eventually to Sligo. And it was to be paid for by paying tolls. Now when they got here, they had to build a new bridge because they said that people were falling into, and the cattle were falling into the Liffey. It didn't take them 25 or 30 years to do it. It was all done in a year or two. And they had no machinery but besides wheelbarrows and stonemasons.
The name turnpike comes from the type of gate which blocked the road or bridge, and was opened after a payment of a toll to the toll gate keeper, who collected the money for the local trust, who were responsible for its upkeep.
To collect the tolls, they put toll gates on the road, and nearly always in places where you couldn't cheat. You weren't able to get around it, so on bridges. Hence this being a toll house. This is the first house in the county as you pass from Dublin. It's 9 miles from O'Connell Bridge. The centre line of the Liffey here is the county boundary between Kildare here and Dublin there.
The lowest charge for a horse was 1/2 penny. A coach with 6 horses was 3 shillings and threepence, and 5 shillings for a wagon with 4 wheels. People travelling locally were exempted from the tolls, as were certain classes of goods, soldiers, or horses going to the water. Then, as now, people resented the paying of tolls, and as soon as there was an alternative they took it, and the toll here in Leixlip was finally abandoned in 1795.
The reason why they seized was another Act of Parliament was brought in to prohibit the collection of tolls where there were crossroads. People got very irritated travelling from a new road over there, where Beckett's restaurant is, over here and up what we call the Captain's Hill, where the captain lived. So the gate ended, and when I came here, I said to them, what would they have done with the gate? I think they would have celebrated by pitching it in the river. So I went looking in the river and I found the hinge. You can see it's got a lump of timber in it and has 2 handmade 18th century bolts and a 1-inch hole here for the spike, and that would have held a big bar of timber, probably painted white. And I know it was the hinge because I also have the drawings of the Glasnevin turnpike. And they'd be rather like the railways, you know, there'd be standard crossings and so on. So I've kept that here. And the house became known as the Bridge House after that. And then in more modern times, local historians felt it should revert to being called the Toll House.
All turnpike roads were abolished in the 1850s, until that is, in the 20th century.